Hello everybody and welcome to today's webinar, which has a focus on using the Koha library management system in public libraries. Now, to just cover what I'll be showing today, I'll give you a wee bit of an overview about us as a company, and then we'll talk about the Koha library management system, followed by a brief overview of the Aspen Discovery platform, and then we'll look at the combination of both within the public libraries. I do have screenshots to highlight some key features. If time allows, I can jump onto the system, but we are very time conscious and there's quite a lot to say, so that may or may not happen. So a little bit about myself, first of all. So my name is Fiona Borthwick. I'm Head of Sales and Account Management here at OpenFIS, and I've worked with the company in various roles since 2011. So I do have a lot of Koha knowledge, but my background is in libraries. I am a chartered librarian, and I have worked in public libraries and pharmaceutical libraries in the past. And I am the account manager at OpenFIS for all of our public library customers and also any of our customers that are in Scotland. So regardless of sector, I will look after them as well, since I'm based in Scotland. There is my email address if anybody wants to get in touch with me, and we will be sharing the slides to all registered attendees at the end as well. So to begin with, a little bit about ourselves as a company. So we were founded in 2007, and we previously were known as PTFS Europe. Our name changed to OpenFIS in March 2025, and now PTFS Europe seems like a bit of a distant memory. We're so used to OpenFIS. So we are UK-based library software vendor, and we have the vision of making technology easy for libraries. We have around about 25 people in the company, so many of whom are qualified librarians or used to work in libraries themselves or have some kind of library knowledge. And as libraries are our customers, those even that haven't worked in libraries before have gained a sound knowledge of the library environment through implementations and so on. We provide all the professional services that you require to look after your Koha system, your library management system with us. So we provide the hosting, we provide the end user support, all data migration so we can convert the data from your legacy library management system into Koha. And we also do training as part of the implementation and bespoke training sessions going forward. And we do have quite a substantial development team as well. There's a team of 7 developers in the company, and they are constantly contributing code back to Koha, to the master product, and to Aspen as well, so that everybody can benefit from those enhancements. As a company, OpenFIS has been certified to ISO 27001 since 2013, and at our last external review in 2025, we migrated to the 2022 version of the standard, so we're bang up to date. We also hold and have held for several years both the Cyber Essentials and Cyber Essentials Plus accreditations as well. We do also have an entry on the risk ledger. If anybody wants to see that, you can contact us and we'll give you the link to view our profile on the risk ledger. So we give you the reassurance that when we're looking after your data, it's all very secure and all our processes internally as well adhere to these standards. As a company, we support primarily open source software. The exception to that is Novation, which is a content management system, which is actually a licensed proprietary product that we kind of look after for PTFS in America for some of our UK customers. However, we're not looking at that today. What we are going to be looking at is the Koha library management system and the Aspen Discovery system, which is the user discovery and engagement interface to accompany your library catalogue. So essentially what your public library users will use on a daily basis to search your catalogue and to look after and maintain their own account as well. We also host and support Metabase, which is a reporting and business analytics software, and I'll talk about that very, very briefly in just a few minutes' time. And we also support Atom and DSpace, which are another 2 open source products that have very particular needs as well for institutional repositories and for archive catalogues. Now, as a company, We do work across all different sectors, primarily in the UK, but we do have some international customers as well. These are the sectors that we work in. And as I mentioned in my introductory slide, I look after our public libraries. So I'm the account manager for them. We do tend to split ourselves. So I've got my colleague Sam, who is the account manager for academic libraries, my colleague Helen, who is account manager for all sorts of special and law type libraries and looks after our archives. And then we've got a commercial director who looks after the NHS sector, and a few of us sort of manage government departments as well, and museums. So we've got a right mixed bag across all the different sectors. And that's one of the beauties of working with us, is that we do have customers of all different shapes and sizes, ranging from large consortia, NHS systems, to really huge public libraries, to smaller FE colleges, and to very small special libraries, as well as having government departments and very, very large museums as well. So let's look at Koha to start with. This is the back end. This is your library management system. Here's a screenshot of what it looks like. So it is one of the world's most widely used library management systems, and it was founded 25 years ago in New Zealand. The word Koha actually means gift. It's a Maori word, and it does mean gift. So being open source, it's like a gift of the software to you. So by that, of course, because it's open source, there are no license fees at all. Anybody can download and use the software, but we would recommend, obviously, coming to a company like ourselves, or there are over 40 companies like us throughout the world that support libraries using Koha in their own countries, to offer you the professional services behind it. So we would look after your server, we do all the backups, all the server maintenance, we look after the software and upgrade it. And of course, we do a full implementation project with you, and we offer the end user support as well. However, another benefit of open source software is that there is no vendor lock-in, so you are free to move between different vendors and still retain the use of the same library management system based on your contract. So some of the features about Koha that I would like to highlight. As I mentioned a minute ago, we do have customers of all different sectors and all different sizes, so it's very scalable. And it's for that reason, that is one of the reasons why it's one of the most widely used library management systems in the world, because it's so scalable and it's not been written to work in a specific sector. It's there to be used by all. It is very user driven. The Koha community is very active throughout the world, and users, as in the libraries, and a lot of the developers and the support companies like ours, they drive the development of the product. So libraries ask for new features, and then a developer will add that feature. And the beauty of being open source is that any new feature that's developed gets automatically added into the core product. Since its inception, it was a web-based solution, so there has never been server-client technology. All that's required to run Koha is a web browser once the server's installed. It's highly rich in functionality and offers everything that you would expect with a library management system. But because it's web-based and very lightweight, it is very easy to use. It's very familiar. People are aware of how web systems work in terms of multiple tabs and hyperlinks throughout and so on. And as a result of that, it's very low maintenance. And we find that libraries don't really need to involve their IT people when they're managing the system. It also should be noted that changes are made dynamically. So if you make a parameter change, then it will take effect immediately. There is no overnight processing required. It is a user-responsive technology, so it's accessible on all devices and will resize itself accordingly as well. It comes with lots of areas in which you can customize, like your homepage, and you can even change colours of the backgrounds and so on. And you do have a fully featured, fully indexed, searchable online help facility within Koha on every page as well. And as you're working through the system, you become very familiar with the appearance in terms of the same display menu options down the left-hand side, tabular view for output, and so on. And it's just very familiar, depending on wherever you're using, you see the same kind of screens. Now, in the public libraries, we all know that library budgets are stretched and that resources can be quite sparse at times as well. So, as implementing the Koha library management system will help to save time on some workflows. It's a web-based LMS, as I said, so having no client means that there's minimal downtime for upgrades. As I mentioned, it's very familiar in terms of look and feel, and a lot of the work can be automated as well. So some of the things highlighted there, you can of course import catalogue records. There is a really robust batch editing and deletion functionality for both items, users, bibliographic records, and so on. And we can build up a series of what's called mark modification templates, which can be applied to batch edit bibliographic records to easily change the content in there. It has a full EDI suite. You don't need to send a job on. It will work automatically in the background. So there is no sort of Edifact report processing for acquisitions. You can just set it all up on the system and it will run automatically. So Koha fully supports quotes, orders, order responses, invoices. And of course, there are scheduled reports as well. So you can set reports up and schedule them to run on a recurring basis, and the output can be automatically emailed to nominated people as well. Of course, as we all know, in the libraries and within public libraries in particular, there is a requirement for a lot of systems to be integrated with the library management system. So, for example, your self-issue kiosks. Now, we do work with all the main suppliers of the hardware, so Biblioteca, DTEC, Linkso, etc. And we create the SIP2 or LCF connections to connect up the Koha library management system with that kiosk. The same can be said for entry gates and PC booking systems and so on. So we do work with all the suppliers of those. We can, of course, integrate with your ebooks, with your Belinda, your Overdrive, and so Press Reader, and so on. And we have got a lot of our libraries using the gov.uk SMS service for sending overdues and reservation notices and so on. But we do integrate with other gateway providers as well. And of course, we can integrate with the council financial systems. So we can have online payment integration, allowing your users to pay for fines, etc., using their account in the catalogue. And also we can integrate invoices with financial systems for acquisitions and things like that. So that's just a very brief list. There is an awful lot more we can integrate with as well. Again, one of the benefits of Koha being open source is that it does have a very open published API. So providing the other suppliers also have the same level of integration that we can integrate. Okay, again, commonly in public libraries, there are the need for some consortial type configuration in the library management system. And I've just picked out some of the key ones here for Koha. So we can cluster different branches within groups, and that can help with things like restricting access to user records in the system and also restricting which libraries can be used for reservations and so on. Obviously, you can have circulation rules which apply to all the libraries on the system, or you can have them applicable to certain ones. Likewise, notices. Each library in the system can have its own set of notices, or you may choose to just use the one, and so on and so on. So it's very, very configurable for consortia as well. As well as some of the other things that I have mentioned, just some of the other interaction that you have with Koha and your library users is, as well as SMS, obviously send notices by emails. You can record statistical data to your heart's content because Koha does allow, and I'll show you on a slide in a moment, it does allow you to create some additional fields that you can record data for reporting purposes. That's very useful for things like, are your users opting in to receive marketing from the library and so on? If you need to get any information about where they are geographically, then again, that could be useful for that. And one of the other features I'm going to highlight to you as well is a point of sale functionality, which was developed for public libraries. So I'll come on to that in a second. Just before I look at those specific examples, I also just wanted to stress the reporting functionality is very rich within Koha. The database schema is available for anybody to look at and therefore run reports. And it's not just transactional or statistical data that we can get out of Koha. You are able to report on absolutely anything. There is a very good reports builder that you can use, or you can copy and paste reports from the community reports library into your own system and edit them accordingly. Of course, you can create brand new reports as well. The results can be viewable immediately on the browser. You can build charts from some of them. You can save them to files and so on. And of course, you can have different categories for saving the reports. At the beginning, I mentioned that we look after the metabase software as well. This is an additional bit of software that can be used in conjunction with Koha, which can enhance the reports to give you nice visual, shareable, real-time dashboards and so on as well. As you would expect, we are compliant with some legislation out there, so Koha is accessible, and we do have data retention policies and anonymisation and so on to comply with GDPR. And you can set up your defaults for things like the language that you're using and whether or not you're using multi-factor authentication. So just to quickly move on and highlight some of the key things for public libraries, just want to mention about patrons. You have a customisable registration form. So as we know, you shouldn't keep any additional information that's not necessary, and you should only keep information for a certain length of time if users are no longer using the service. So the registration form could be customised in a way that allows you to capture just exactly that information that you need. But you do have additional fields area where you can, as I mentioned before, assign any type of additional category that you want to record. And this can be based on category as well. So in this example, I've got summer reading challenge and I've got summer reading challenge fields exposed here because this is a registration form for children. This section here would not display if I was registering an adult, for example. Again, another feature when you're registering children is that you can have guarantor linking. So this allows you to sort of have relationships between family members or carers and so on as well, which makes it much easier to keep things together. A couple of developments that OpenFIF, previously PTFS Europe, put into Koha for public libraries specifically were the housebound module. So this, the idea behind this is that you can create profiles for you people that are housebound that you need to send deliveries out to. You can specify what the day of the week that they should get their delivery and the frequency and what type of material they're interested in subjects and so on. And then you have your calendar here, which you can edit and see who's delivering the items. Another bit of development that we did here was to create the cash management or point of sale module. Koha originally had nothing, but then we introduced a cash management module, and it continues to be developed as we get more public library customers as well, but who have slightly different requirements. So this allows public libraries to record payments taken for absolutely anything, not just library-specific things like fines or reservation charges, but it does allow you to use your library management system to take payments for any merchandise, so any books, pencils, mugs, that sort of thing that the library may sell, in addition to things like ticket sales and so on. It can be linked to library users or it can be completely anonymous. And of course, you do have the facility here to say which cash register you're using, how the payment was taken, if cash change should be calculated. And obviously, you can reconcile and cash up your tills as well. They can be done all at once or individually. So moving very quickly on, aware of time, I just want to touch now on Aspen Discovery, which is like your front end for the Koha library management system for public libraries. This is a discovery and engagement interface. And it's used in many libraries throughout the world. We've got a lot of our public libraries using them. And it's again, it works in a similar way to what I described with Koha. It's developed and financially supported by partner service companies like us. Again, once more, it's open source, so the same rules apply there. This screenshot here gives you an example of our demo system, the homepage. You can see you've got curated lists, so a user doesn't need to know what to search. They can just come in and click the link and get some results, or they can search, and they can search across multiple resources. Library catalogues, obviously Koha, but they can harvest data from other sources as well. They can use this system to look at their own accounts and see what items that they've currently got checked out, and they can renew those items, and they can place reservations and do all manner of my account functionality. It provides a personalised patron account experience. Basically, the library can use Aspen as their website because it has web builder functionality in it, so that it can take over as that library website as well. And like Koha, it does use responsive technology, so will resize itself accordingly. And um, it promotes digital presence, and you can get supported funding from other things. So, for example, we work with Library On, and some of our libraries have received Library On funding for Aspen to either implement it or to further enhance it. And we're doing some work at the moment with one of our libraries on making some changes to the events module. And one of our libraries a few years ago got funding from another council department for the implementation of Aspen, because they're able to harvest those web pages as well and expose that department through Aspen. It does have its own separate app as well. We've got a digital library card, the My Account functionality. It's always signposts the user to other resources. Maybe you're interested in this. It gives you recommendations while you wait. And again, it allows the patrons themselves to set up some of their own preferences, like their language settings and so on. There is the ability to allow the system administrators to put local translation onto Aspen. And you can, in consortial environments as well, scope the searching and have different interfaces, different themes for each of the consortial members. Also in public libraries, you might find that the public libraries would have one interface, but their schools library service would have a second interface, for example, but it's the one system. And I'm going to be touching on both the community engagement and the events features as well, starting with the community engagement module. This was another OpenFIF development that we worked on in partnership with a library in America. And first of all, it began with their specification, and community engagement was formed. We then further enhanced it with input from UK libraries to change it and allow, because in the UK, if we look at the Summer Reading Challenge in particular, the UK libraries enrol the users in those campaigns, whereas the original development, it was very patron focused. They would enrol themselves into the campaign. As a user, you can enrol and unenroll. You can see what milestones and progress you've made and all the campaigns that you've registered in. So very useful for reading challenges and for other things that the library wants to promote as a campaign as well. Put a link here to a fantastic video that our colleague Pedro, one of our developers, has done, and gives you more information on how that module works. There's a lot of development currently happening in the events module with Aspen. So recently, last year, Aspen had some native events functionality plugged into it as part of the core product. But prior to that, we did integrate with some events platforms, for example, LibCal by SpringShare. But we do have a native events module now. It allows you to search events within Aspen itself, build up all the events. You can see from this screen here that we've got a sort of calendar grid. You can search events specifically. And if you search your catalogue, you also get information about your events. When you have a look into a particular event, you get information about it, and you can add it to your events, and you can see all future dates and so on. So really, this is complete events management within your Aspen Discovery window as well. And developments that are being currently worked on are to have ticketing systems in it, and so on in there too. In terms of how they work together, put a reference here to a previous webinar that I did last year, which gives a lot more insight on how the two work together. But for public libraries, Koha would be the library management system that the staff use, whilst Aspen would be the front end, because it offers a far greater and more enriched experience than the Koha standard OPAC. But any catalogue updates that you make, that staff make in Koha, will automatically apply into to Aspen. In terms of the users, if they register their own account on Aspen, then it's immediately put into Koha. Any modifications that are made are available immediately. If a user borrows borrows an item from the library, they'll immediately see it in their account in Aspen, and staff will see it in Koha as well. So it all links together. Forgotten passwords, everything. It's basically the integrations with Koha and Aspen, so it works seamlessly. As a user, you wouldn't be aware that it was different systems. So that really concludes the webinar. I am almost to the wire of my time, so unfortunately I don't have time to go in and have a look at the systems. But if you would like a demonstration or you would like more information, then please do get in touch with us. My email address was on the slides earlier, but you can also use our sales email address. And just to say, we do have some upcoming webinars for this quarter where the focus is on different sectors. So our next one is in February, where my colleague Sam will be doing a similar webinar to this, but with the focus on academic libraries. So if you're interested in attending any of these, please do sign up on our events page.